This is Damon Stevens. The FINRA Alert date is Sunday, September 18th, 2022. The stock market update for trades of the day. Boy, we had a down day Friday and we broke critical support. We got lots of triggers in the news, including the Fed speaking to us on interest rate increase, what it's going to be on the 21st, which is Wednesday. So be prepared. Make sure that you locked any profits that you want to make sure that you're protecting and be ready for this week because it might be a crazy one. Especially if we don't get a bounce here and the Feds do not help us out here with some positive news. So just be careful out there. Let's get right into it. Take a look at what's going on. All right, looking at the market, you can see that the Dow Jones closed down on Friday, down 0.45%, NASDAQ down 0.9%, S&P 500 down 0.72%. You can see across here, heat maps pretty red across the board. Not any sectors that are doing stronger than the others. Although J&J did pretty good, and there's a couple of spotty, but overall the market was pretty much down. On our scanner, really didn't hit anything on our scanners either, small caps wise. As far as news, we obviously September is typically known as the worst month. Typically the last part of September, which is exactly kind of what we're going into, as the worst part of the year. So do we put a new low in this week or next couple of weeks? It's possible. So just be careful out there with your trading. Also, FedEx had bad news towards the end of last week, talking about, basically the impact of their business, which brought their stock clear down, as well as UPS. And so this is having a major effect as well on the market, as far as, companies who are talking now about, their outlook not being very good here in the future. Also, we have lockdowns in China. So a lot of bad news out there. I mean, we did get an open up on China. They opened up one of their cities back up, which is positive. But, again, every time this happens, or, as we come into winter, this could happen more often. And what are we going to do about it? How is the company, how is the country going to respond to it? Also on, we have, rumors of, strikes on the railroads and trucking. Just across the board, which obviously could interrupt quite a bit. So we don't want those disruptions. So hopefully get some control around some of these events and have some type of good news coming out here to keep the market propped up here a little bit. Otherwise, I think we got the downside coming here in the next couple of weeks and new lows possibly. So looking at coming up this week. We have home building index on Monday. Tuesday, housing permits. Wednesday, we have home sales. And then here at 2 o'clock. So in the afternoon is when we're going to hear from Jerome. We'll hear from the Feds what interest rates going to be. So expect a lot of volatility on this day. It might be kind of dead until that time frame. Just be aware of that. Just be careful out there. Then Thursday, jobs claims and just general economic numbers. And then Friday, APMI comes out. So again, expect a lot of news coming out this week. A lot of things that could swing this market, but typically the market is looking to go down, which makes sense here. If you look at this next chart here, you can see here that overall for the year, this year we have more people shorting the market, or more institutions shorting the market, than any time in history since at least 2000. So obviously very bullish or bearish on the market right now. You see here also on S&P 500, this is open calls and puts. So everything in red is short contracts, where people are short in the market. Green are people are long on the contracts. You can see here obviously this huge spike here. A lot of people are short in the market right here at 390, and we're sitting right below it here. So nice reward for these people. If we continue to come down this week, we're going to reward this next group here at 385, possibly even. So just be aware, these shorts are going to possibly take it to the bank. And then you have up here, you have the high end, this group here that just popped up here. A lot of the calls coming into the market on Friday with the quad witching hours, probably thinking that the market was going to have some type of rally or temporary rally. And is it possible? It can, but we broke support. So we the market's got to do some work here, especially in the next couple of days before the meeting. To maybe have a little temporary rally. So just watch for that. But we do have people out there, but obviously the overall market is short. And so again, the 21st is a critical day. So keep that on your calendars. Also, if you look at the 50-day Fortune 500, S&P 500 stocks, and everybody over the 50-day moving average, you can see here we had this spike up here. We talked about this in every video here in the last few weeks, but we hit 92. That was after that big bull run, dropped off here, had mini bull run up here back to 70, which is kind of, if you look back here in history, it was kind of the norm before you had a pullback. I talked about that creating a pullback. We had this pullback again. Talked about the support line here, and then Friday we broke that support line, and now under 25% of companies are over the 50-day moving average, which is typically a bullish sign. So obviously we're back into a very bearish looking market coming in here to this next week. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe to our channel. We'll continue bringing these videos to you. Also, don't miss out on taking advantage of our Discord here. We have a free chat room here, and also daily watch lists where we release our what we're looking at for the day before the market opens, and also the levels, where we want to go long or short, when we're getting in, when we're getting out. So definitely take advantage of that free watch list out there and free chat. Also, if you want to become a member, we offer a lot of other service here. We have the live trading where you can trade with us live. We have training courses out there. We have a master class out there where we teach several different techniques. And that way you kind of learn, if you're especially new as a trader or looking for something new to do in the marketplace. We have several different examples out there as far as in our training courses, as far as, other ways to trade this market. So just something possible interest for you. Definitely helpful for those who are on our members list. Group training and one-on-ones. And one of the things that we've heard from members that most helpful is, we looked at their computers, see what their setup is, and make sure that it's optimized for how they want to trade. So we're willing to do that with you. So definitely join us, take advantage of that. But in the meantime, let's get into charts and take a look what's going on. Netflix, nice little bounce here. So it got finally out of this bottom zone here that we've spent weeks in, and got up here towards that 50. Hopefully this doesn't get ruined. We're also outside our downward trend. So breaking out finally on Netflix. Netflix has been strong this last little bit. I've been very impressed with it. Hopefully they keep it up. NVIDIA came off that bottom too, trying to rally back up here. Not quite, it's under our resistance line still. But it did close above the candle on Thursday. So looking to see if it can get a breakout here and then chase this candle up here, hopefully towards 138. Ideally up to 140. Apple put a reversal doji in here, so hopefully we can reverse it, but it's below our support line. Again, everything's looking very bearish, looking like we're going to come down to lows here, because we're now into this lower range. We broke the neckline back down, and we could very well come down to this range and test these bottoms again. Amazon, right here at the bottom of our support trend line here. So it didn't break it. So hopefully it can bounce off of here, but it's right down towards the bottom of that. So we're looking for that reversal candle to actually give us something this week, at least the next couple of days. Microsoft reversal doji here, but it's right towards the bottoms. So it's easy for it to be in this zone to come down and put a new low in on Microsoft. So really weak right now, and under everything's, almost everything's under our support lines. Chipotle coming down here, tag to 20. As long as it stay above this 1670, we talked about this in our videos. Hopefully we can bounce off here. If it fails below the 20, look for it to come down here and test some of these lower areas, maybe even below the 50-day moving average, maybe around 1552. All right, so next one, Tesla here. Tesla, we've been holding up fairly well with the market overall. And it got outside, now 2 days outside this lower trend line, which is based off of this line here through this pivot here. So trying to see if it can break out of here. Maybe it can. It's got to get above this 305 area, try to get up to 311 area, then 314, and then break out to the top. It is kind of towards the upper deviation bands as well, so it might have a lot of resistance up here. But we'll see if we can break out. If not, it might break back down into this wedge. But so far, Tesla's been a good, strong stock right now, trying to break out. Now, government bonds, if money's going into the bonds, usually it's going out of stocks. And you see that the bond either we're putting a double top in here, or this 10-year yield is breaking out, which, you know, obviously the market's going to continue to come down. And so if this starts to spike up here, obviously we're seeing, you know, more down movement in the major indexes and stocks. The 2-year yield, here's where the problem is as well. You know, look at this thing. So now it's right up here onto close to our third deviation band. So we could have a possible pullback here. We are at new highs with the 2-year yield. You know, we're close to 4%. So that's pretty elevated. But, you know, money's going to flow where it's going to flow based on, you know, where the best return is in the market. And bonds are usually safe when stocks are at risk. So I could see very easily this bond's going up to 4.5 possibly here. So let's see what happens. The dollar, now I like the dollar staying flat. It would be better if it's coming down. That's really going to help the market. But it's flat right now, and it's been flat kind of in this range here. So if it breaks above this 910, which is resistance, gets up to 110, you know, and breaks out here, obviously it's going to affect the market. That means more money's coming out of the market here. If we break back down here, then that would be obviously ideal for trying to sustain this market. But expecting, you know, possible breakout above 110, I think it's very easily to do this week if we have any type of bad news. Gold obviously pulls back the dollar. It's kind of flat down here. It's under our resistance areas. It is in the lower zone, so definitely weak on the gold. If we don't maintain kind of where we're at here, if we break the 1650 area, obviously we can very well come down here towards that 1600s. The VIX still elevated. As long as it stays above 25, I'm you know, real concerned. I'd love it to break out of this channel to the lower side, below 25. But right now it's hitting this, you know, look at how many times it's hit our resistance line here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in the last few weeks here. So, you know, the more it bangs up there on that line, it's gonna, yeah, has a greater chance of trying to break through there. And obviously it wants to. And that VIX breaks up through that area, then very well the market's going to come down, and it just needs a little tipping point here. So that's why I'm saying just be cautious out there. I'm not saying, you know, giving financial advice here, just saying that we're really paying close attention to that and see that it's very likely that could break. Look at the weekly, again, sitting right up there on the weekly as well. It closed out right at that resistance area. So, you know, this has got to pull back here if we want any chance of a run. If we break it, and look for more downside and possibly new lows in over the next couple of weeks. And you see here on the SPY, we broke that midline, broke a resistance line. We are sitting here now. That's a reversal doji. It very well could try to bounce and fill that gap at least. But if it does, it might come up here to this 390 area and reject and come down towards 370. So that's kind of this zone right here. So looking for, you know, really to see what happens on Monday. If we get above 390, look for a possible play back up to our trend line, and then it could reject off there as well. So look at resistance, you know, around 394, 395, and a rejection off there as well. So we have a few areas the SPY's got to get through if it wants to show strength. On the weekly, talked about not wanting to close below these candles the last 2 weeks, and we did. So sorry about that. Alerts are going off for the weekend. Let me just shut those off real quick. Okay, let's get back to this. So you can see here a pullback here, and we've broken this deviation band. So we're broken everything. So it's very easy for this now to come down, test 200 here at 366, or even come down to our lower line here at 362.17. So that would be this lower deviation. So looking at a very possibility, that's a pretty strong candle. So very much a possibility now for the SPY to come back and down and retest the lows. Triple Qs right here. Coming down here, it's below this. It's not below this resistance line, which would take us, you know, to give us this whole zone down to the new lows here. It's 268, but it's right here, kind of sandwiched between. So we'll see what happens. There we got to see some huge pull on Monday to the upside, but I still think it could be very temporary based on just history and what the market's been doing lately. Semiconductors below our support line as well. You know, we got this candle. I can drag this down here. So here's a candle that it's kind of engulfed in right now. I'll pull this up here. So it's right here engulfed in here. If it breaks this low, obviously we're going to come down, possibly test this 169 area. This whole zone's pretty much open. So if it breaks down, we gotta run. We got a ways to go down. IWM, same thing. We got a nice zone down here to chase down to the bottoms here if this breaks. So right now, IWM semiconductor, not semiconductors, but the small caps are right here, right just barely under this line, but above our support line, right in this candle here. We break that, we got a lot of downside, probably new lows. And so you can see here, I have a very bearish bias. I think the market can do weird things, especially going into this this meeting here on Wednesday. It has a couple of days if it wants to run, but if those meeting notes are bad on Wednesday, if interest rate release is high because the Feds still remain very dovish and very putting the pressure down and really trying to bring things down. Look for some downside here. Look at here also on financials. We were below our support line here. We're holding that line. Now we've broken it. And that gives us this whole zone clear back down to these lows right here. And you see where we had that double bottom at around $30.42, $30.37. That very well could come down here if we break below that 32.50. Bitcoin showing its weakness as well. Come down here. If we break the 18,500 level, look for a test here down towards the 17.6. If we break 17.6, we might be coming down here. We have a long way to come down. So Bitcoin could be testing some lows here, maybe around 15, 14,000 if it cannot hold above these next two support lines. Ethereum breaking down as well, and it broke this wedge to the downside. And so you see it try to break up, failed, and a big failure right through. So the test here would be back down to 1,000, and even 1880 if we really get hit hard. So again, this is the last worst 2 weeks typically in the year. We're coming right into them this week, so expect anything right now. But right now, the market's showing signs that it wants to go down and probably test lows. So just be aware of that this week as you're going in. Again, great time to join our Discord right now to see what's going on our watch list, so you can stay with us with this market, especially this week. Love to have you join us. Check us out, like our videos, and we'll continue bringing this content to you. We'll meet tomorrow night also and talk about the day, how we went on our trades, and what we're going to prep for Tuesday this week. So everybody have a great rest of the weekend. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.